Let's get it started, Ale. Welcome back.
What's up?
And then I'm at you. We're back at it again with another book.
I know. Huh? That's an interesting one. I think Arisha የመረጥነው ነው ሳናስበው.
Meta. Start of the year.
Not just start of the year, but this is the new year, new me decline የሚያደርግበት, right? Like New Year ሲጀምር, there's like always high motivation. ከዛ ግን at the end of the month, like February around ሲመጣ, like that motivation starts to die down and your true self starts to creep in. So I think we picked the perfect time. Like ታስቦበት አይደለም, but I think we picked the perfect time to discuss about this book. That
For sure. And I think like it's a very famous book, right? Like I think
yeah.
a lot of people, especially self-help enthusiasts, ያሉ, I think, a lot of people have read this book. And it's like it doesn't say a lot of things like out of the ordinary ነገር ግን like I think it says it in a way that is very easily understandable and implementable ነገር daily life.
I agree. Better. And I think most of the self-help books, if you've realized, you read them, you're like, oh, I already know this stuff ምናምን ትላለህ, but I guess maybe it's just a small thing that kind of changes that into.
For sure.
Yeah, even we didn't even tell everybody what the book is about.
What the book is, yeah. So today we have the book Atomic Habits. This book is it's honestly really amazing book. And it's not, I don't think it's a book that you አንብበው like because you forget about ነገር, you kind of have to go back to it because it's talking about habits and we're always struggling with good and bad habits like it's good to go back, refer to it and get back into action.
100%. And I think that explains why it's one of the most famous books as well. But,
For sure. All right, shall we get to it?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's do it. All right. So basically the book starts out by talking about atomic habits, where it comes from. So the word atomic, basically what the book is saying is the author starts out by saying like those tiny changes that we do but add up ያደርጋሉ. So those atomic like ሚጢጢ የምንላቸው habits that we have, when they add together አንድ ላይ በጣም ገራሚ compound effect ነው ያለው, like compound growth ነው የምናሳየው, like ትናንሽ ነገር ስለውጥና basically the author is like explaining like how እነሱ ነገሮችን ስንል we make great changes. It even mentions the example of the British cycling team. So the British cycling team, like they're losers, they haven't won shit in a very long time. Because የሆነ ሰዓት በኋላ የሆነ ማናጀር ነው የሆነ ኮች ነገር መጣና በቃ every little thing tweak መደረግ ጀመረ ነው። even የሚተኙበት ትራስ ማቴሪያል ምናምን በቃ every little thing, ከዛ እነዚህ ነገሮች በቃ ሲስተካከሉ ከሆነ ሰዓት በኋላ they were like unbeatable, the tiniest ማስተካከያዎች ሲስተካከሉ ማለት ሳይታሰብ it really made a compound growth እና unstoppable የሆነ cycling team ምናምን ሰሩ እና like to show that those tiny changes can make remarkable results, as the book says ማለት ነው. And that's I feel like that's really amazing thing that the author started out saying. And now basically he says that your habits shape your identity and vice versa. Your identity but so like your habits ማለት ነው. So it's like it's like our habits are what we are ነገር, so we should shape our habits around who we want to become. So a person, let's say, who wants to be, I don't know, in a rock band or a guitarist or whatever, but የቀኑ ጊታር የሚጫወት ከሆነ that person is a guitarist. Like you embody the identity of a guitarist ማለት ነው. If you're playing guitar all day, every day, practicing guitar, like making tunes and stuff like that. You get what I mean? So but like really, like they're really important in shaping your identity. And at the same time, no, vice versa, if በመጥፎ መልኩም if you have bad habits, then they shape your identity. You get what I mean? If you have habit of, let's say, አላርም ማትሞላ ከሆነ ወይ አላርም ስጮህ ማትነሳ ከሆነ ምናምን እንደዚህ የምትል ከሆነ they're gonna shape your identity to become way late ሊሆን ይችላል time management ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል or something እና they really play an effect in who you are, you know, those habits. Now, basically, like it talks about like how to build the better habits in 4 simple steps. They're make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, not make it satisfying. Now, I think these are like duro tamran one like in biology or something, right? Like a cue, craving,
Yeah,
or
I think
things.
trigger or something like
Wait, cue no so cue, craving, reaction and response and reward.
I think yeah
Something like that, right? የሆነ አብርሃም ማዝሎ or something ብሎ የሆነ እንደዚህ ብቻ እንትን ሲሉ ነበር። ብቻ anyways like it's centered around that the book ማለት ነው እና basically dissects that into how we can use those fundamental laws ነገር to our advantage in our daily lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think you summarized the whole book really well. Like it's all about the small steps and focus. I think like, and even the whole book kind of talks about how to focus more on systems than goals, right?
Yes.
Like it's you know, and I think there was a crazy example መጽሐፉ ሲጀምር የሚገልጸው where he talks about a plane where a plane ሲነሳ like 5 degree or like you get 1 degree like ተጣሞ ከተነሳ destination ሌላ ሀገር ነው, you know what I'm saying, like
for sure
so it's like you building that system and into the journey ነው እንጂ the destination like መሄድ አይቀርም as long as you have that system and now you have that trajectory ማለት ነው. So you want to make sure like you build those systems and habits so you can have the right trajectory so you can get to the destination ማለት ነው. But I guess based on social media and how life is like, we're programmed to focus on the results. So we look more into the goals and the rewards more than the systems and the trajectory on where we're going. So
for sure
this book was a game changer. So let's get into it. And like I think the first law of like building a habit is just making it obvious. And making it obvious is like, unless the word explanatory, it's making it obvious, right? Like whether you want to build a habit or whether you want to break a habit, you want to make sure like you want to make it as obvious as possible. It's in making it obvious is part of cue, so like you want to trigger a cue. So like that is the first step there. I think they're like around 4 steps that he talks about in creating making it obvious, like, and the first one is like identifying an existing habit. Like you want to make sure like you sit down and identify your habits. It could be good habits, it could be bad habits. You might be snoozing your alarm in the morning, or you might be going through your phone at night before you go to bed, or procrastinating on an assignment, or there might even be good things that you want to do. So you want to make sure you're aware of your current routines and habits, both good and bad ማለት ነው. ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ ከዛ you want to identify what good habits that you want to build. So I think that's the first step. You want to write down the things that you want to enter ማለት ነው. So and you want to do this consistently so you can keep improving these things, man. Because once we do that, I think the next step is like we want to start a new habit. Like let's say and the bad habits which in that or the good habits reinforce. Let's say we want to stop snoozing our phone in the morning or something, or we want to start exercising when we get up or something like that. So we want to make sure there is this thing that he calls implementation intention, which means like making it obvious or cue like you want to make sure you make it as obvious as possible. So like you want to make sure like, let's say I want to work out. But if that's only like my workout local, it's not clear, it's not obvious, right? Like what time am I working out? And እንደተነሳው ከእንቅልፌ ካልገኝ እንደወጣሁ ነው ሄጄ push up የምሰራው, or do I eat breakfast and go? So like this implementation implementation intention የሚለው it's talking about making it as clear as possible. So setting a specific time, location, and all other details where you're going to perform this new habit. So you want to make sure you create a clear cue ማለት ነው. So that takes the brain work out of it, and that gets you to that actual እንትን ማለት ነው. So in all the habits that you want to build, you want to make sure you set that implementation intention and James Clear names it that, but it just means specific time, specific date, specific location. You want to set that. How frequently are you going to do it? You want to make sure you set the habits to, like, if it's, let's say, if it's a habit that you frequently do, but your implementation intention, like, you want to clear ካልሆነ or like የሆነ ምናምን ካልሆነ you might be doing it and like you might not be as consistent with it, or it just leaves a lot of brain work. So you want to make sure to do that. I think that's what he talks about. And the other one is he talks about motivation is overrated, right? Like, I think
for sure.
And that's podcast, that's why we talked about how it was important to, like, አሁን የአሁን ሰዓት የተመረጠበት ፓርት is because January ላይ የሌለ ሞቲቬሽን አለ, but as the months go by that motivation እየወረደ እየሞተ ነው የመጣው. So you want to make sure you motivation, so your environment matters. So like you want to do this thing that he calls he talks about also habit stacking, which is habit stacking means like making sure you stack a habit on top of another habit. So like if there's something that you already do, let's say like habit that naturally like everybody does, maybe like brushing teeth on each other, right? Like we don't even think about that, we just do that. It's a habit. So if there's another additional habit that we want to do, we just add that habit right after the other one. So implementation intention ካረግን በኋላ that existing habit የምናረግባት ላይ እንጨምራታለን ማለት ነው. So we stack that habit on top of the other, so it speeds up like our chance of doing that የሌለ ይተልቃል ማለት ነው. And the last one, I guess, like is the motivation and environment, and is making sure like we set the environment right. Like we want to make sure we have an environment that influences us to do the habit that we want to do. So things that trigger the habits that we want to do. So that I think that is that was like kind of Lenny, it was like a game changer for me, because the environment is always right? Like let's say it could be using your phone, so like at night I used to struggle using my phone. So like that I broke that bad habit by setting the environment, which is getting my phone out of my way, like before I went to bed. So like I put my phone in the living room, I go sleep in the bedroom. So that there's no environment for me to do it. Like I have no option. So that environment was set. So I think making it obvious is those things. So whether we're building a habit or destroying a habit, we want to make it as obvious as possible. Or on the reverse, we want to make it as not obvious as possible, so we can be able to stack those habits.
For sure. Those are actually very amazing things. It's like it reminded me of like a saying in the book that says like, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Oh yeah.
So it's like everybody, Manila, like it's like everybody can set high goals, ማንም አላቃተውም በቃ አሁን I want to be a billionaire ወይ ምናምን ብሎ anybody in the world can set that goal, like setting a goal is not the hardest, like, or high goal set ስላደረግ በቃ you're more likely to internet ወር ምናምን ማለት አይደለም. It all matters, your system ነው what matters. So it's like ከፍ ባረከው ቁጥር አንተ ከፍ ትላለህ ሳይሆን ወደ ሲስተም ነው የምትወድቀው እና ሲስተም ነው በቃ like ሲስተምን ከፍ ካርክ አንተም ከፍ ትላለህ rather than your goal ማለት ነው። እና በጣም ይለልና like I really thought you were right about this in the opposite way. Like አሁን ቅድም ያልከው like personally አሁን በጣም relate የማደርገው ነገር it's like when it comes to making it obvious, bad habit እንድተው ያደረገኝ it's making it not obvious, the opposite ማለት ነው። It's like, so I remember like at some point I was like struggling with using social media አይደለ የዛኔ ምን አደረኩኝ? So first of all ስልኬ ራሱ መጠቀም በጣም ሳበዛ ፊንገርፕሪንት ሎኩን አጠፋሁት። ከዛ ፌስ ሎክ አጠፋሁት። ከዛ በኋላ what did I do? ረጅም አስ ፓስወርድ ሶ ኤቭሪ ታይም ስልኬን አንስቼ ልጎረጉር ስል I have to type a very long password
Yeah.
literally which is so በቃ like you know በቃ የሆነ እንትን ማለት ነው እና ከዛ በኋላ ሌላ ሶሻል ሚዲያ ምናምን መግባት ከፈለኩኝ I have to ሲጀምር I don't have social media ፊት ለፊት ሆም ስክሪን ላይ I have to actually search literally every time I have to go into it I have to search so it's like it's not obvious ወዲያውኑ ስልኬን ከከፈትኩት ራሱ it does like you know trigger me ወደዛ ለመግባት ማለት ነው it's like if you want to avoid sugar ምናምን you don't want to have Coke around you you know it's like if you have Coke around you now fighting it rather than fighting it having Coke and not fighting it you'd rather not see the Coke you get what I mean don't buy it at all you get what I mean or don't have it in your fridge or whatever you're in the same like the opposite if you want to let's say increase eating fruits last week what I was doing was like I bought and I usually don't eat fruits like a fruit salad like honestly I'm just like that naturally then I know that I have to eat some fruit you know to get some nutrients and I'm like I bought fruits and now I literally put it right here on my desk one demo in the kitchen መበላበት ቦታ ምናምን አድርጌ ከዛ it's like በቃ እየሰራኝ ምናምን ፊት ለፊት ይደቅ ብሏል ሶ በቃ የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ በቃ ዝም ብዬ የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ በቃ አንስቼ እበላዋለሁ ማለት it's like it's too obvious that I would do it ደግሞ the reverse ደግሞ like ሌላም ነገር ደግሞ that I want to avoid if I don't want to do it get it out of my sight you get what I mean make it hard to reach literally like you know በጣም እንትን ማለት ነው
አንዳንድ ኢቭን ምግብ ላይ አጋጥማቅም የምትወደው ምግብ ወይ ፍሪጅ ውስጥ ምናምን ተደብቆ ሳትበላው ላይክ ተበላሽቶ ምናምን ነገር you're like fuck man ይሄ ነገር ነበር እንዴ ምናምን ነገር
yes exactly just because it wasn't obvious
just ፊት ለፊት ግን ማብላት እኮ ትፈልጋለህ it's your favorite food or something like
exactly so it's like if it's obvious enough ፊት ለፊት በቃ it's easy access በቃ it's easy to do but if it's not ደግሞ so I think this really helps in setting up the way I don't know like learning I feel like this is one of the most important things you know I learned in this book like you really you wanna በጣም into like ያወጣብኝ ነገር ነው እስከዛሬ I was like oh you know power like the will through sheer willpower በቃ የሆነ like እንትን ላሉ የሆነ በቃ ፊት ለፊቴ ወይ I don't know chips ወይ ለስላሳ ወር ምናምን አስቀምጬ በቃ I'm not gonna do that because it's not healthy ከዛ ከራስ ጋር ድብድብ ፊት ለፊት እያዩ በቃ ያምራል ምናምን ከራስ ጋር ድብድብ ማለት ነው የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ ትሸነፋለህ በቃ there are times you win ግን የሆነ like በጣም like there is a big chance ሁሌ የምትሸነፍበት ማለት ነው so I really thought that was really amazing you know from the book so basically the second law it says make it attractive so basically the book talks about temptation bundling something called temptation bundling so I actually thought this was a very nice trick because basically what it says is let's say there's a habit like exercising right so exercising or going to the gym honestly it's tough like for anybody who goes to the gym or something like you know how tough it is like without like you don't have full motivation የለም ወይ ምናምን ወይ ተነስተ ስፖርት ሰራለሁ ብለህ ወይ ጧት ወጥቼ እሮጣለሁ ምናምን ካልክ most like እንዲሁም like ብዙውን ቀን ሞቲቬሽን አይኖርም እንኳን ካለ በላይ ማለት ነው
እና like excuse ደግሞ ብዙ ነው
exactly so it's like you can bundle it with something that you like so that you would do that habit so for example like in Dumir mentions the example of this guy ቤቱ ወርክአውት ያደርጋልና like ትሬድሚል ላይ ወጥቶ እንዲሮጥ በጣም በቃ የሆነ ትሬድሚል ላይ መሮጥ አይፈልግም he wants to watch his favorite TV show instead you know so ምን አደረገ ትሬድሚሉን ከቲቪ ሾው ከኔትፍሊክስ ጋር አገናኘውና somehow he programmed it he must be a genius honestly ከዛ በኋላ like if he's not running at a certain speed he can't watch his favorite TV show እና ከዛ ውጪ ከትሬድሚል ውጪ he can't watch his favorite TV show so if he wants to watch his favorite TV show he has to be running on the treadmill at a certain speed ማለት ነው so it's like he bundled it with something that would really tempt him to do ማለት ነው so በዛ እንትን በቃ እንትን ማለት ጀመረ ማለት ነው for example now what I do is like I really like I enjoy listening to podcasts or I enjoy reading
Yeah.
audiobooks ምናምን
Mm.
so what I do is like at that time I cook at the same time so it's like when I'm like I'm gonna listen to a podcast or a audiobook when I cook you
Yeah.
know thought when
Yeah.
I cook የዛኔ እሰማለሁ so it's like በቃ I don't even think about the cooking you know I'm listening ምናምን የሆነ kind of in the zone ምናምን በቃ thinking about stuff ምናምን I don't even think about the cooking እና በጣም that makes it whole lot of it በጣም like really attractive much more attractive than ሁሌ
Yeah.
በየቀን ጧት እየተነሳ ኩክ ማድረግ ምናምን በቃ እያጠብክ ምናምን you know that could be like
Mm.
tiring or something man also another thing that it says is like the role of family and friends in shaping your habits so there's the saying right the five people that you spend the most time with are the five people that you're most likely gonna become or something you know you are the five people that you hang out with the most so it's basically like that like if you join like a group of friends who are let's say smokers ምናምን ነገር ጠጪ አጫሽ ምናምን ከሆኑ and if you're spending a lot of time with them 9 times out of 10 you're gonna become like that you know like the reverse you know if you want to make a good habit if you join a group of people who are like let's say if you want to start a business if you're joining a group of people ሁሉም ቢዝነስ ያላቸው sooner or later you're going to start your own business too you know you're going to learn a lot from them you're going to start being like them ገብቷል all the conversations ወደዛ ያመራሉ ምናምን so it's like it's really really important you know the five people that you most spend time with the most የሚባለው super key yeah and so another thing የሚያወራው ደግሞ how to find and fix the causes of your bad habits so it's like every bad habit is associated with some kind of emotion you know like we usually do bad habits so that they can distract us and get away to help us get away from some emotions so we can make ourselves feel better or demo recognizing what kind of emotions causes what kind of habits so for example maybe ሁሌ nervous ሲሆን you know እጄን እበላለሁ like ጥፍሬን እበላለሁ በአፌ you know let's say እና ጥፍሬን መበል ሁሌ ሰው ጥፍርን ትበላለህ ምን አውቁም ይለኛል but I never knew nervous ሲሆን እንደምበላ you get what I mean so recognizing that nervous ሲሆን እንትን የምለው when I become nervous next time I could be like oh I'm nervous you know let me try to make myself feel better then like when I recognize it I break the loop ዝም ብዬ ሳላስበው unconsciously ወደ bad habit
trigger
exactly so in the same time ደግሞ በቃ የሆነ good ነገርም ሲሰማ you could associate it with some good habit እና you know start doing good
100% and I think that I mean we can move on to the third law and the third law I mean if you guys are doing all of this ቀጣዩ ደግሞ just making it easy like and this habit like making it easy to build a habit and making it difficult to break a habit so I think making it easy the first one could be like building like friction reducing friction I mean so whatever task you want to do like you want to make sure you make it as easy as possible to do like you want to like redesign your life to create like less friction and good behavior so like stress rule like as low as possible so like if you're let's say if you want to read a book like Leo ቀደም እንዳለው if you want to eat fruits already like ከቀኑ በፊት ተዘጋጅቷል if you want to go to the gym your bag is packed before the day ማታ ላይ ፓክ ተደርጎ ተቀምጧል everything ጫማው እዛ ፊት ለፊት ነው ያለው ምናምን ነገር so like it's so easy to do ነገር ማለት ነው so like making sure there's as least friction as possible and the opposite goes too and when you want to break a habit though create as much friction as you possibly can like right like barrier after barrier eventually like your brain give up እንዲያደርግ ማለት ነው so ሊዮ ቀደም እንዳለው like setting long ass passwords አፖቹን ሌላ ቦታ መደበቅ ምናምን ነገር that's creating more and more friction and I think like I think we've talked about this like Kantagam but like social media for example like it's designed like technology like it's all about less and less and less friction, right? So because
For
they
sure,
want to
for
get you
sure.
addicted more and more and more. So there's like
Yeah.
these billion-dollar companies, their focus is literally to build make sure there's less friction and you
Yeah.
and the thing that you're using as possible, Malan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're trying to break these habits, you want to reverse engineer that and not try to create more friction as possible between you
Yeah.
and especially that technology. I think technology has been like the biggest problem, like in terms of like because they're striving to create less friction until you're striving to and you're trying to break a habit,
Exactly.
but you can't because it's so easy. Like you go on Instagram to text, I'll go on Instagram to text Leo. Before I know it,
Ka-
30
አንድ
ደቂቃ
ሰዓት
ሙሉ
እዛ ውስጥ
እዚህ ነው እያገላበጥኩት
ተኝታ
ነው።
የሪል ማት እያየ ነው፣ የስቶሪ ማት እያየ ነው፣ ሌላ ታሪክ ውስጥ ገብታል።
ምንም በቃ ላይፌን የማይጠቅመኝ ነገር ሉፖል ውስጥ ገብቼ ምናምን በቃ አንተ የነገር ኢንትረስቲንግ ሰርች እያረኩ ምናምን በቃ የሌለ ማለት ነው።
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and I mean, it is very hard, like being an individual and not going against like fucking smart ass people that are literally trying to addict you ነገር ማለት ነው into using their platform more and more. Again, you want to try to re-engineer that and make sure like you create as much more friction as possible ማለት ነው, like if you're trying to break a habit. And I think the next one is trying to use it. I think he talks about the 2-minute rule. So it
Yeah.
talks about like breaking down the habits that you want to build to the lowest, like to the smallest that you can possibly
Yes.
think of. And then
Fucking
just,
amazing.
yeah, that is,
Yeah.
I think that is a big game changer because like you want to make
በጣም
sure like you break it down and to a point where implement the habit that takes only 2 minutes, you
yeah.
know? So like break it down into like at least 2 minutes. Like, I don't know. So if you're trying to exercise, it could be like just do 10 push-ups or something, like something that takes like
Yeah.
with implementation intention, making
Yeah.
it demo betam breakdown demo ከተደረገ, then you can build that up into like a bigger
Yeah.
habit ማለት ነው. So you want to create like that snowball effect, so which is
Yeah.
making it እንትን ማለት ነው. You know, so I mean, I think these are like the making it easy, like, and then leveraging like decisive moments can be also it could be, sorry, it could be a good እንትን to do ማለት ነው. So like trying to automate like your desired habits like to as much as possible ማለት ነው. So like an existing like initial choice ያለውን like a cascading effect cause እንዲያደርግ ማለት ነው. So you can make some decisions early on, so those
Yeah.
can snowball into a bigger እንትን ማለት ነው. So like that's also like I think a very good way to make it easy or make it hard, you know, but the whole chapter is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
በጣም I mean የሌለ ማለት for me I think like from what you mentioned, like the biggest thing that helped me personally is like this ያው besides making it unattractive ምናምን ቅድም እንዳልነው ያውላ typing the password ምናምን you know, like I think I mentioned the social media, right? Using a password manager እና you know like by the way እሱ ነገር ያስቃል because like what I did was I logged Instagram እና ምናምን all the other social medias with like የተጠቀምኩት password I don't know it, like I just literally just did this on the keyboard literally, so it's like the password I can never memorize it and it's very long. ከዛ እሱን ኮፒ አድርጌ ፓስወርድ ማናጀር ውስጥ ከተትኩት። ፓስወርድ ማናጀሩ ለብቻው it's logged by a password ገብቷል። so ለምሳሌ IG መግባት ከፈለኩኝ I have to go to the password manager, input my password, copy the password for IG, ከዛ በኋላ go to back to IG, ከዛ paste፣ ከዛ በኋላ ነው IG የሚገባው every single time ማለት ነው። so it's like that makes it so unattractive. Anyways, like the biggest like takeaway that was for me is like this 2-minute rule. So በጣም በቃ like እኔ እንጃ በጣም underrated የሆነ I think ሰው የማይጠቀመው like I think something that he came up by himself ነገር ማለት የምችለው like from this book is I think ይሄኛው really like it's I feel like it's a new concept ለእኔ at least from the limited knowledge that I have ማለት ነው እና it's like እኔ አሁን personally I used it like even last year, like you know exercising ጠዋት ምናምን at first 2 minutes ልብስ ለመቀየር ራሱ አይመቸኝም you know በቃ ልክ ገና እንትን እንልና አለቀ 2 minutes ሞላ ከዛም like fuck በቃ I should stop like አማራጭ የለኝም። ከዛ I stop ግን because like ሳይወጣልኝ በፊት የሆነ like እንትን ሳልል በፊት ስላቋረጥኩት I have the እንትን motivation to do it one more time ከዛ the next time እንደዚሁ ከዛ በኋላ በቃ maybe ትንሽ a little bit more like በቃ የሆነ maybe I do a single push up or something ከዛ በኋላ like አለቀ ከዛ በኋላ በቃ አለቀ ጨርሻለሁ ብዬ like tick of my day የሌላ ዋል በቃ it didn't feel like በቃ ምንም that I was doing anything ግን ሳላስበው unconsciously I was getting into the habit of ጠዋት የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ getting into exercise so it's like I might not actually be doing some significant exercise that has an effect on my body ግን I was setting up this habit in my head ጠዋት ከዚህ ሰዓት እስከ ሰዓት is exercise time ከዛ ወዲያውን ከዛ በኋላ የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ ምን ጀመርኩኝ ሳላስበው በቃ ላይክ ምናምን ብዬ የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ በቃ I change into workout clothes ነው በቃ ሳላስበው I find myself working out ማለት ነው I still might not be doing like significant amounts of workout like ከዛ ቀስ ብዬ ነው like gradually ስጨምር የነበረው ግን በቃ ሳላስበው like that built the habit in me ነገርና I feel like በጣም underrated የሆነ እንትን ይመስለኛል this one
I agree 100% agree
yeah So the fourth law is make it satisfying. So እዚህ ምን ይላል like on the fourth law ላይ there's the cardinal rule of behavioral change ይላልና basically ምንድነው የሚለው it's like what is immediately rewarded is repeated, what is immediately punished is avoided. So whatever like habit you want to have, if it's a good habit that you really want to have continue doing, reward yourself immediately after doing the habit. For example, like let's say I don't know, like let's say you're exercising, right? You want to make exercise your habit because that's usually the toughest challenge. So if you want to make exercise your habit, so let's say you want to buy something for yourself, let's say an expensive jacket. So every time you exercise, you put your own money onto your bank account specifically for this jacket. So every time you're exercising, you can see like the jacket, garami jacket ምትለው ምናምን and then coming to life ማለት ነው. So it's like a win-win. You're getting rewarded. So it's like you're gonna get that jacket and now you're like rewarding yourself. At the same time, no, the opposite. If it's a bad habit, but not punish yourself. Get like make it obvious that it's not a good thing. Like in the summer. How to stick with good habits every single day by Milo Demo. Like sometimes we're gonna miss days. Let me say if the plan was like to do certain kind of habits, like meditate, for example, every day or journal every day corner. There are days where you miss. Something comes up, like there are days that you miss. But the rule is not to make it 2 days in a row. But like you might miss one day, but not 2 days in a row. If you miss one day, it's like a blip. If you miss 2 days, it's the start of a new pattern. You get what I mean? So but like 2 days morning, like miss one day, that's completely okay. But 2 days in a row, never, So that as a rule, I feel like it's like a very good thing. Another thing that the book talks about is like accountability partner. This really works in every scenario, honestly, not just for habits. Just have an accountability partner, share your goals, what you want to achieve, now let the other person keep you in check. So in the book, it mentions an example of this guy who had his wife and his gym trainer as an accountability partner. Now, every time he missed the gym or something, he would give $100 to the trainer. Every single time he missed the gym. And not this like you never want to miss it. Like okay, you don't want to miss it. Not like these kind of things. Kind of yeah. It's amazing, really.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of like on መጨረሻ ላይ mention ያደረኩ environment የሚለው ጋር ይገናኛል, being in the right environment automatically gives you that accountability partner ነገር ማለት ነው, because you're seeing that person daily doing that ነገር, so like even word I know, like you guys keep each other accountable. Like if you have somebody that you can go to the gym with, if you have another, if you're around people that are starting businesses, if you're trying to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur and you're in that
Mm-hmm.
circle, nigga, like
Mm-hmm.
that's automatically like keeping you accountable, them, like also voicing your intent. Like I think one thing is
Yeah.
like whenever, like if you've noticed like things that you've been lazy on, if you announce it in the public, ሳትወደው ግድ ታደርገዋለህ ከዚህ መዋረድን ስለማትፈልግ
Yeah.
ማለት ነው። like so
100%.
እሱም
100%.
ደግሞ that
Yeah.
has a lot to do with it ምናምን ነገር እና like so doing those things like
በጣም
they help a lot. Like you can do with your friends, and I mean if you ain't got
በጣም
no friends, yeah, why that's highly likely. But if you
go
don't,
public.
then just yeah, just go public with
Go
it, and
public.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you'll just
Social
do it
media,
for
go public.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you could do that, but this book has been amazing, and I think it's one of the first books that I've read, and I think for everybody too, right? Like how to influence people,
Uh,
atomic habits, rich dad poor dad is
yeah.
like literally
በጣም በጣም በጣም
the እንትን
በጣም
of like
በጣም
getting እንትን started man.
the secret ምናምን
Yeah, በቃ like እሱን አንብቤ
በጣም
ተለወጥኩኝ ምናምን
yeah
ነገር but it
በጣም
does have like
በጣም
a lot of
yeah
እንትን እኔ like honestly
mhm
like one big takeaway that I had with this book ምንድን ነው like
mhm
was as like somebody like that has like big ambition, big vision ምናምን ነገር, it's very
mhm
hard to be happy. Like I think we've talked about this,
mhm
like desire and happiness, how related they are. Right? Like if you have desire,
mhm
you're kind of striving for something. So it's like being happy and having desires, like you know, it's ይጋጫሉ ነገር ማለት ነው.
ትንሽ yeah
Yeah,
paradox kind of yeah
yeah. So make like building a system makes you stop thinking about the goal. So like this book taught me like forget the goal.
mhm
The goal is just like you'll get there ነገር ማለት ነው. If you constantly think about the
for
goal,
sure
that's the desire. አይደለ? Like I desire to
mhm mhm
like all the vision that I have, that's the goal. But like goal
በጣም
like vision and everyday ስላሰብኩት I'm not gonna do it. But if I build the system,
mhm
then and I truly trust the system that I've built, then I'm enjoying the
mhm
moment every day. Enjoy ያረኩት ነው ማለት ነው ያረኩት
mhm
ያሉት, you know what I mean? So at the end of the
yeah
day, like ሳላውቀው ራሱ I'll just get to the goal. So I don't have to think
exactly
about that. So like being in
mhm
the moment, I have the happiness,
mhm
I still have the strive, then I
mhm
get to the goal at the end, man. But the way I used to think
100%
about it, I used to obsess about the vision and the
mhm
ambition that I have, because that
mhm
every day, like it creates unhappiness because I'm like, okay,
በጣም
what do I not to do? What do I need to do to get to this goal? What do I need to do? And then it's just like it became
በጣም
like a self-destructive ነገር ማለት ነው.
በጣም
So
በጣም
I think, but the more and more I read this book, like it just taught me like, okay, build that system,
በጣም
create those daily things, forget the
mhm
goal. But like
mhm
plan it out, forget the goal. That the goal is just like ደረስክ በቃ
yeah
ከዛስ you keep going
yeah
again. You know,
mhm
like so, but the
yeah
journey is what matters, and you've heard that so many times. Like
mhm
it's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, blah blah blah. But it's
100%
true.
yeah
But
mhm
I think you just need to find a system that you can trust, and that's also an issue. But once you find that
mhm
system or that like roadmap that you can trust, or
yeah
let's say that mentor that like make it like, you know, that's
mhm
I think that's why mentors are like so important, because like they know they've
yeah
done it. So like if
yeah
you find that person that will guide you, but like you'll
yeah
trust them. Like Argan Milan
mhm
Taragana, you know
yeah
you're gonna get there because they've been there.
yeah
So it's the
yeah
same kind of thing. Like so
በጣም
yeah, and it really, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. That even more than habit, ይሄኛው ነው በቃ because I always used to
yeah
question like how can I
yeah
have desires and still be peaceful and happy at the same time? How can I
mhm
have a big
mhm
vision and still
yeah
be happy on a day to day? You
yeah
know, without going crazy over these
yeah
ambition or
true
like things that I have ነገር ማለት ነው. Yeah.
true በጣም agree like በጣም ማለት like you touched upon like ሳታስበው like a big thing ነው ያወራው ማለት ነው like you know being I think like being grateful for what you have, gratitude, and like just focusing on right now. And I think also in the book ያወራል like
Yeah.
about the basketball team, like you don't have to watch the score, you know, basketball like scoreun ማየት አለብህም የለብህም, you don't need to.
Mm,
If you
mm,
just focus on, doing the right play, like how you play, how the team plays, you don't have to watch the score. The score takes care of itself, ማሸነፍ አይቀርም literally just become the best team you can become። ስኮሩን አየው አላየው ለውጥ አያመጣም። ዞሮ ስኮሩን ብታየውም እኮ it's not going to make a difference because ዞሮ you're trying to be the best you can be, not the best place you can make, literally, so it doesn't really matter whether you watch the score or not. Just try to be the best player you can be or the best team you can be ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው። And I thought that was an amazing example በጣም also like አንድ ነገር ስትል maybe hit ያደረገኝ ነገር ምንድን ነው? It's like I feel like being conscious of our habits ነገር I feel like we really don't do that ነገር በጣም ማለት ነው። I feel like በጣም ብዙ ችግር አለብን when it comes to that. I said like አሁን ህይወታችን ላይ let's say ማንፈልጋቸው ነገሮች አሉ እንበል those things are there because of who we are. You get what I mean? So it's like we probably should change. Maybe it doesn't apply 100% of the time, but like 9 times out of 10 that applies. It's because of who we are. Not like maybe if we change some part of our routine, our habits, which in changes our identity, that changes the circumstances around us. You get what I mean? Whether it is not having money, you don't have money because you're born into a poor family. No, you're poor because you don't have resources. No, you get what I mean? You don't have resources and you're not resourceful. Those kind of things. So it's like, how can you be a person that can get what you want to get? Whatever it is, whether it's a fit body, healthy body, money, providing value for people, I don't know, helping people around you, whatever it is, like building a business, whatever that is, like how can you, it's about becoming that person that gets those things, gets to do those things. It's not about like visualizing stuff and like I feel like if we could think more about that, we could like really go places where those little things, if we could be conscious. Because like the reason I say this is like, I know I'm blabbering too much, but like the reason I say this is because I notice a lot of people who complain about a lot of things in their life, but like they don't take the time to notice where exactly is it going wrong. Let's say like when you drink coffee, I mean, naturally we tend to become more anxious and now more in this anxious state, heightened state, so in that heightened state you're not able to, let's say, I don't know, maybe sleep, ገብቷል? coffee ጠጥተህ like ልተኛ ብትል it's like your body's not gonna rest well በስርዓት ማለት ነው። so ጠዋት ተነስተህ if you're complaining, you don't feel rested ምናምን you get what I mean? Maybe you should take a look at like ምንድን ነው ያደረኩት? What is causing this? Whatever it is that you're unhappy about, what do you think you are doing that is causing that thing? Maybe there's a certain habit that is associated to that unwanted outcome ነገር I just wanted to point that out በጣም የሌለ በራሴም ኖት ስላደረኩት ነው። It's good to ask people maybe sometimes, what is it that you think I'm doing that I could do better, that could help me avoid the bad outcomes that are in my life or something.
But I think there was this famous meme where like I think she asked her, oh, I'm feeling but I'm depressed ምናምን ነገር ትላታለች። ከዛ she's like, oh, did you sleep enough? No. Did you go out for a walk? No. Did you are you using your phone too much? Yes. And not all like the symptoms. She's doing it and not just, but she's really focusing on the result. And it's it was a funny meme. It was a funny meme, but and that's how it is. But
that's how it is. Exactly. That's how it is right now with a lot of people, with a lot of things, including me. I'm not saying like any single out I'm not, like bashing people. Like that's how it is most of the time. So now like the more we can be aware of like what is causing the outcome, thinking, oh, it just happened to me, Simon. There's something that I'm contributing to, maybe outside influence, but there's something I'm contributing to it, there's something I'm doing to contribute to it.
አንተ like I know, like this is way over time, way like you know, but like I was thought like something like it really popped in my head, and
Yeah.
like I've realized
Mm-hmm.
like habits, like all good things in life, they take time. You know, like whether it's building a
Yeah.
business,
Mm-hmm.
going to the gym, exercising, manam, manam. But I
Yeah.
feel like our
Mm-hmm.
body naturally is designed to for
Mm-hmm.
instant gratification. Like we do
Mm-hmm.
something, we
For sure.
our body like needs a reward on the spot, and not like our
For
ability
sure.
to delay that. So like if we
For
just
sure.
follow our body, ሁሌ like የተመታ ነገር
For
ውስጥ ነው
sure.
የምንሆነው. You know what I mean? Like 'cause I will
100%.
go
Yeah.
to the gym, will lift ምናምን, or like will you
Mm-hmm.
start a business, you
Mm-hmm.
ain't seeing shit for a month. You know, the action is being
Yeah.
put in, and your body naturally is craving for that reward, for that like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
dopamine hit ማለት ነው. And that's like, where the fuck is that
Yeah.
dopamine hit ነገር? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, you are አስቡ, like you're doing the work. So the more
Yeah.
you can do the work without expecting the result,
Mm-hmm.
that's why like the journey matters ነገር ማለት ነው, more than, but
Yeah.
naturally since you ነገር, that's why like we're so addicted to social media or something, because it
Mm-hmm.
gives us that
Mm-hmm.
instant dopamine,
Yeah.
but the gym doesn't. Like maybe it does, but
Mm-hmm.
like not to a point where
For
የሆነ
sure.
ዛሬ ስለሰራው six pack አላወጣም. You know, maybe a year,
For sure.
maybe 2 years,
Yeah.
maybe 3 years before I have the body that I would want to have or something. Ain't nobody
Mm-hmm.
got time for that. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
naturally, man,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
ሶስት ዓመት ልጠብቅ ነው ምናምን እንትን
Yeah.
ደግሞ like, or like I need to build like 4 years to fucking build a business. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
At the fastest
Yeah.
ማለት ነው እንግዲህ, like, or like a two
Mm-hmm.
years
Mm-hmm.
ምናምን to be successful at 4
Mm-hmm.
years.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I ain't
Yeah.
got time for that. But one thing we also
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
see is like the time ያልፋል ሳናስበው, and now 4 year ይደርሳል.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you like, I started working out like 3 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when we had the bet, if you remember.
Yeah.
Obviously, I lost that bet, but
Yeah.
and I stopped
Yeah.
because በቃ I'm like, oh, ይሄ ነገር ምንም ለውጥ የለውም በቃ ምናምን ነገር. But
Literally.
አሁን ሆኜ ግን
Imagine.
ካዛኔ እስካሁን ድረስ ግን if I didn't stop, I would have got to the goal
Imagine.
ነገር ማለት ነው.
Yeah,
So it's
Lila.
like,
Yeah, Lila.
so it's always like that. It's always like that. And that
Yeah,
was just
Lila.
crazy. Like we're always going, I think we're going against our body. That's why it's
Mm-hmm.
difficult.
For
Because
sure. For
reward
sure.
እየፈለገ reward ግን የለም. All the good things, reward
Yeah.
ቶሎ አይመጣም. So it's like,
Exactly. Delayed
indeed,
gratification.
yeah,
Yeah.
delayed ነው
Yeah.
የሌለ. So the sooner we get
Yeah.
used to that, I guess, the sooner we'll get to the goal አይነት ነገር ነው realize ያደረኩት.
But it even like says in the book, like the cost of your good habits are in the present. The cost of your bad habits are in the future.
Wow.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna pay for
Yeah.
them later. Like the cost
Yeah.
of your bad habits, you're not gonna pay for them now. In fact, the opposite ራሱ ይላል. Most of the times, uh, if you enjoy, if the reward of a habit is in the present now, question that habit
Yeah.
because it's most
Yeah.
likely a bad habit. Like ወዲያውኑ reward አድርጎ እንትን የሚል ከሆነ habit, question it. It's not always like question it
በጣም
because like bad habits, they have their rewards are now. Their rewards are not in the future. There is
በጣም
no bad habit that we do. Reward in the future, delayed gratification. Like,
I
በኋላ
know.
ላይ, like there is no bad habit on, let's say you smoke now and you're going to feel good in 3 years or in 2 years or in 1 year.
I know.
That's
I
never
know.
gonna happen, you know? Like instant እንትን ነው ገብቶሃል? Instant
That's true.
gratification. So it's like the good habits ደግሞ most of the time ወዲያውኑ አይደለም. You know, if you read a book, ወዲያውኑ knowledge ውስጥ ገብቶ ኢምፕሊመንት አድርገው ምናምን ወዲያውኑ
Yeah.
ህይወት አይለወጥ
Yeah.
ገብቶሃል? If you read, let's say, finance book, ወዲያውኑ ብር ባንክ ውስጥ አይኖርም, or you know,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a successful business or whatever. You know,
Mm.
same goes with exercise, blah blah. So it's like የምትከፍለው ግን የሀቢቱ አሁን ሪዋርድ ባይኖረው, the good habits usually they don't have a reward in the present, but they
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
so much like tenfold rewards in the future. አሁን ፑት ያደረገው ማለት ነው. And yeah,
Yeah.
በጣም ይሌላ. I really like
That's
that.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that's actually amazing, but that's
Yeah,
an
really.
amazing inter.
እንደውም አሁን repeat it. The cost of your good habits are in the present. The cost of your bad habits are in the future. So question that motherfucker every
That's
time.
crazy. on that note,
yeah,
let's wrap it up. እንፍታቸው አዛግናቸው እዛ ጋር
yeah, በጣም
በደንብ
አሪፍ ነው። ታሪካችን ያወራን እኔ በተለይ ለፊልም
አለ like
ቀንሳል for next time.
I know, me too. Like I think when we like, you know, like when you get in the moment, man, you get carried away. Nah?
For
Yeah,
sure,
but
for sure.
another amazing episode. Like I've learned so much, even
For sure,
just exchanging and talking about it also. It's amazing.
for sure.
But
All right, let's wrap it up. Peace.